You know, I was still winning. Like I had my children, I was still winning in New Zealand. I stopped travelling as much overseas, and in New Zealand I was still winning, and that was cool. But at the same time, I didn't have the same hours in the day to surf. So I still wanted to be in the surf, so to get the same sort of time in the water and on the waves, I thought if I got a longboard, I could surf more. If I just jumped on a canoe, I could paddle for an hour and get the same sort of cross training in. You know, then I started stand-up paddling. You know, all I needed was 30 or 40 minutes on a stand-up paddleboard, and that sort of was enough for me, you know. And then I could fit in my children too, and everybody's sort of happy. When things aren't happy, things don't flow properly, and so I was trying to find a balance in between everything. You know, and then over the years, I played around with all those different crafts, but it really wasn't until I got into this wood surfboard here behind me, the Elia, that I realised I hadn't really learned anything about surfing. But the art of surfing itself, I'd learnt lots. And it, you know, I've learnt how I can paddle this wood surfboard better. I know that jumping to my feet is just going to be faster, and yeah. This little wood board here, the most simplest craft, is the one that is testing my 25 years of surfing the most, and yeah. I'd call myself a master of a shortboard. That's all it was. I was a master of a shortboard, but I wasn't a master of crafts, and I wasn't the master of the type of crafts that go in the water. And then I started thinking, wow, imagine being able to ride everything and be the best at it. And it was as simple as that. I told myself, imagine being the best at everything. And then I picked up a longboard, and it was like starting to surf again. Learning, you know, going right back to the basics again, working your way through it to try and master this piece of equipment. And then I felt like I was nearly there. I was like, okay, that's good, that's good. And I'll jump on something else. And then I'll start from the very basic again and work my way up, and then I'll be just about there, and I'll start something else. And then it eventually over the years it would become a rotation of different crafts. So I'd ride a stand-up paddleboard one day, ride a longboard one day, ride a canoe. And what it was doing, I had to be very flexible with my body and with whatever craft that I was riding in the ocean. The thing about it was, though, I brought 20 years of water experience to this craft, so that's what it made. It made it a lot easier for me to adjust. But flexibility was the key in my mind, was to stay really flexible in your ideas and your beliefs of why you want to ride this equipment, and that's how it became easy for me, because my intentions again was to be the master of everything, but I had to work on each little piece at a time, and mix them all up to a point where you could hand me a surfboard and I could ride it.
So it's not so much of a competition as a driver to do it?
No, it's not a competition, but it's a competition within myself. That's where the competition is for me now. And that competition not even, it's like it's a desire in myself to be the best person I can be. And that person is, in my eyes, and in my world, is the one that can write anything in the ocean. Winning, it was just an experience. You know, I understood what it takes to win, and I understood what sacrifices I needed to do to win. And some years I just don't want to sacrifice that much, so I just choose not to. And with luck, I might win some competitions. But you can't just be naturally talented and win all the time. I went through a tough time back in 2008, 7 or 8. And, you know, the recession had kicked in and I lost a lot of sponsorship because I was getting paid really well. So I lost a lot of sponsorship, and when I lost the sponsorship, I kind of lost direction where I needed to go, or where I wanted to go. So I didn't have to, but I chose to get a job, like a 9-to-5 job. And I worked for a drilling company where we reinforced the roads, made big gnarly stuff, like super dangerous stuff. You know, things that you really wouldn't want to do, this kind of work that we did. Drilling underneath the road, sticking big reed bars under, working with jackhammers, and you know, but I really enjoyed the structure of the life that they had. They had to be somewhere at 7 o'clock and they could knock off at 5. Where in surfing, in the professional world that I was living in, my day would start when I'd wake up. There could be interviews, there could be a contest that I had to be at. I had no idea when I was going to be home, because I could make the finals of a particular event and I could be home at 9 o'clock. So I had a very unstructured life, which was tough for my family too, because I didn't know exactly when or where I was going to come home from. So this idea of working from like 7 till 5 was real cool. You know, I could do something between 6 and 7, or between 5 and 8, and I could be at home, you know. And I started thinking about some of the lives that people live. You know, they work 9 to 5. I'm like, it's kind of a peaceful life, really. You know, I was like, some people just aren't really happy at where they're at. I had everything, so-called I had everything when I was a professional surfer, but what I didn't have was time to myself. And that was so precious when I was drilling, because even though I was working, I had time to myself. You know, I was tying the steel, but I could actually just focus on tying the steel, but I could think about, oh yeah, my family, I could work on this and, you know, do different things. But at the same time I was making money, and you know, it was good money. I was really enjoying it. So I worked there for about 8 months, working around the whole country, and I made enough money to you know, get a deposit on a home. But I realised after those 8 months of full-on working there, surfing really was me. I have a talent, and I've worked really hard on that talent, that children and adults and people look at me as inspiration, and that's a responsibility that I've got. So I said, okay, yeah, you've been through that phase of your life now, so let's get back into surfing. And I've just been slowly working on that, and lucky enough I had the time before I started this full-time work to try all these other crafts out and get better at longboarding, get better at stand-up paddleboarding, because now they have a longboard tour in New Zealand, they have a stand-up paddle tour in New Zealand, and I walked straight into those 2 competitions and smashed everyone.